Sasha the Science Guy.
River continuum concept. Watershed rule. 1893. Pool, riffle, run.
Sasha the Science Guy.
Fire! It's great! It cooks our food, it warms our houses, but if it gets out of hand, it can spread, well, like wildfire. And it can be really dangerous to everyone around it.
Yay! We're safe here in the river! Well, actually, fires can have a huge effect on rivers. This entire area has been burned by the rim fire. Firefighters spent millions of dollars to make sure the fire didn't spread any further into Yosemite. Firefighters use prescribed burns and thinning to make sure that things like this that have a lot of fuel don't burn. When there's fire on the hill slope, all the plants burn. You see, the plants hold the sediment in place, making sure it doesn't flow into the river. The plants have deep root systems that cause infiltration to keep the soil in place and the water to go down slope. Without the plants, all the sediment ends up in the river.
Once sediment is in the river, it increases the viscosity of the water and bank scouring on the sides of the stream, an aggradation that clogs up valuable aquatic habitat.
The amount of water flowing down the river determines the size of the particle that can flow down. Clay, the smallest particle, takes the smallest amount of force to move down the river. Next up, there's sand. Sand, like you see on the beach, takes a little bit more force. As we get to even larger flows, grains like pebbles and gravels can move downstream, and cobbles, and eventually giant boulders. Sediments deposit where the river widens or where there's a curve or meander in the river. At the deepest part of the river, called a thowag, we get sediments like these cobbles depositing in the stream. Further along the bank, we get smaller particles like these sands. And at the very edge, we get the finest particles like the silt. Macroinvertebrates and fish like to live in eddies like this one, where the water is recirculating around away from the main channel.
When sediment deposits in the eddies, it hurts the bugs and fish that live there. It fills in the spaces between the larger rocks that macroinvertebrates like to live and fish like to lay their eggs. The sediment decreases the oxygen concentration in the water and alters the food available to the larger bugs. Fish prefer these bugs, and if they're gone, it can hurt their population.
When water flows quickly downstream, it can move the sediment on the bed. At slower flows, the sediment rolls on the bed. And at faster flows, it bounces or saltates along the bed. And at the fastest flows, it becomes entrained, which means that it gets picked up and moves as suspended sediment downstream.
Now hold on, Sasha the Science Man. Doesn't all the sediment go downstream?
Well, actually, little Scotty, the process can take decades, if not centuries, and it can have huge detrimental effects on sedimentation downriver. Make sure you put out your campfires and be safe with fire, because you can prevent forest fires.
Yay! Fire safety!